sometimes paradise isn't what you thought it would be. Like when your friends take you out for sushi and you think it's gonna be great, but it turns out to be disgusting. Or when you get into optometry school and you thought it was going to be all rainbows and cupcakes, but it turns out to be really, really hard. A while ago, I made a video about the dark side of optometry, the things that I didn't share with people that were really hard about optometry school. And so today, here's your video about how you can overcome those nightmares of optometry school. Let's go. What's up, YouTube? It's Josh Reese and Kiwi. And today we're going to be talking about the things that you can do right now to help yourself get through the hard times in optometry school. I know you clicked on this video, so you know that optometry school is not what you thought it would be either. It's a really hard thing. But here are my tips, I got 7 of them, to help you brave the fire of affliction that is optometry school. Now, the first thing that you can do is to never get behind. And that's really easier said than done. And I'm not talking behind on any assignments, because you're just going to turn things in the day that they're due. It's just natural, right? You're not gonna be that kind of person who has everything done the day that it's open. It's just not gonna happen. But what I mean by never get behind is don't be behind on the big things like classes. It's not undergrad where you have to show up and be graded on attendance in every single class. There's going to be professors who have lives and they're going to be like, hey guys, I'm sick today, I'm just gonna record my lecture from home and you're just gonna have to watch it. And so when you can have the option of online classes, especially after COVID, it's much more common to have online classes. So tempting to not watch them when you're supposed to, and it's so tempting to put that off for as long as possible. And soon enough, you're gonna find yourself the day before the exam, not having watched all the lectures, and you're gonna try to study and watch the lectures, and it's gonna make your life harder. So never get behind is the #1 thing you can do to make sure you're on top of optometry school and that it's the easiest for you. Just don't let yourself get behind on those big lectures. And the second thing you can do is get a tutor. When you feel like you're struggling in a class, the best time to get a tutor was yesterday. Get a tutor before you struggle in a class. Now, I know some schools only provide tutors for people who struggle, but it's okay if your struggle is different from somebody else's. You don't have to be failing a class to feel like you're struggling. And so get a tutor right away. Tutors are available at almost every single optometry school, and it's just one email away, or just asking someone to tutor you. It's not this big thing. I know that I thought having a tutor would suck, and like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling so much. But honestly, I filled out a form online at the school and said which class, and there's a tutor ready for me. And I meet with them once a week, and we just go over anatomy, because I have a hard time initially wrapping my mind around it. Once I get it, I kind of get it, but it's really hard for me right up front. So get a tutor before you need one. The #3 thing, and I can't stress this one enough, is take better breaks. In undergrad, you work and you take a break. And in optometry school, you can work and take breaks, but you're gonna need to work harder, so your breaks get longer, and it just becomes a whole fiasco. What you need to do is just take better breaks. If you need to, schedule them out. You need to have time away from material to help your brain recover, and if you're not taking a well-planned or well-thought-out break, you're just wasting time sometimes. Now, if you're one of those people who needs a video game break or frequent food breaks or things like that, have them. I'm not saying you have to destroy your life to be an optometry student, but take better planned breaks. I know my first week of school, I just went hardcore into everything, studying all day, every day, all my free time was study, study, study. But now I'm able to study better when I'm studying and have my breaks be just a few hours sometimes. I know I need to spend time with my wife, and I'm never going to be able to do that if I'm studying all day. Now, I'm not going to be able to spend all day with her, but I am able to spend a few hours of quality time with her every single day because I can plan out better breaks. Now, what does a better break look like? It all depends on how well you do when you're studying, but when you're studying, study. And when you get to a certain point, say, I'm going to stop after I get to the end of chapter 3. So when chapter 3 comes, you're on break. Treat it just as seriously as you treat your study. I'm going to relax. I'm not going to think about school anymore. That's all behind me. I'm taking a break. I'm having fun right now. I'm playing my video game, whatever. But then you also need to be disciplined when you're on your break too. When your break's over, it's over and you need to get back studying. You can't just be on Instagram the entire time and think you're studying, but you're also taking a break, and when those gray lines form, that's when you have such a hard time. Take better breaks, plan out your breaks, and really just make it through optometry school. It's not going to require major changes, but it is going to require intentional changes. Thing number 4 is you have to become a teacher of the subject. Now, as an optometrist to be, you are going to need to be an expert in the field. It doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have to explain to people these different subjects. And you're going to need to be a great teacher as an optometrist. And honestly, that's what you're preparing to be in school. All of these classes, you're not going to be able to be the best optometrist you can be if you can just get B's and C's on the exam. You need to be able to communicate this information. And that's the number one way you can study, and it helps you on the exams a lot, because the exams, they're going to test you on stuff that the teachers, the optometrists, are teaching you. Is stuff that they know and they explain on a daily basis. So they're not going to really test you on the nuanced, weird things. They're going to test you on things that you're going to be teaching other people soon. You're going to be educating your patients on this in just a few years. And so you need to be able to teach that subject. You need to turn yourself into a teacher. If you study in a group, take turns teaching the material. Don't just be a learner, be a teacher. If you're tutoring, the best tutors that I know will have you take turns teaching that to them. You'll know if you know a subject is if you know it enough to teach it. So make optometry school easier on yourself and start teaching the information now. Worst comes to worst, teach it to your dog. Kiwi loves to hear about my eye anatomy, right? She loves it. Or teach a pillow, or teach a wall, or teach a picture of your mom, right? You just teach it, because that's going to be your life from now on. So you might as well get used to it. The 5th advice I have to get through the nightmare of optometry school is talk to your professors. I know that a lot of optometry schools, when they're looking at letters of recommendation, need a professor's letter of recommendation because they want to know if you're able to be personable with professors. In an optometry school, if you're failing, it's almost kind of on you because you need to be able to communicate. So before you fail, right, just like getting a tutor, before you fail, talk to your professor, right? Talk to them. Be friends with your professors. It doesn't matter if you're acing the class or if you're an average person in your class. Your professor's probably already trying to memorize your name. Make it easier on them. Introduce yourself. Go to office hours. Their office hours are often, and they're great, and they're always accessible by email. Take advantage of your professors. If anything, you're just networking, right? They're going to be your source of job interviews. They're going to be your source of the grades that you get in optometry school, and they're going to be your lifetime friends sometimes. So take your relationships with your professors seriously, and it'll help you do better in their class and have a better career as an optometrist. Number 6, and I've said this one before, but if you want to get rid of all the stress on top of you in optometry school, it's before every exam, go over the information at least 3 different times. Now, what I'm going to say new is go over it 3 different times in 3 different ways, and you'll never fail an exam. You won't even get close to failing if you're able to go through all of the information at least 3 times. Now, that's so easy, and it's so easy when I say it out loud, but a lot of times when we study, we only go over it 2 times. We attend class, and we study the material. And maybe before the big midterm, we study again, right? But that's all kind of in the same way sometimes. But if you want to go over the material 3 different times in 3 different ways, go to class. I don't care if they have an online option, attend it in person. It's way better if you can do that. Boom. You're able to hear it and learn it that way. 2, rewatch it. Just rewatch the lectures. You don't even need to be taking notes in attending class or rewatching lecture. You don't even need to take notes on that. It's all about the learning and the exposing yourself to your information. And then the 3rd time, go over your handwritten notes if you can. Or, that 3rd time can be going over the PowerPoints and taking notes on the PowerPoints. Or you can mix some of them in there as well, where the first time you don't take notes, but then when you rewatch the lectures, you can take handwritten notes and then go over it again. Just as long as you go over all the information on a test 3 different times in 3 different ways, it's going to be in your brain. It's going to be in there somewhere, and hopefully enough to recall. Maybe not enough to teach someone else, although that would help too, but at least enough to recall the information that when you see it on an exam, you'll be able to get that answer right. So go over all the information at least 3 times. It'll make optometry school so much easier for you. And if worse comes to worse, you're not going to get an A on that exam. That's fine. Optometry school is not about being perfect. It's about being an optometrist. And you're going to know all that information well enough if you go over at least 3 times and leave all the stress behind. If you don't understand something after that, that's okay. You don't understand it. Focus on the big picture. Just go over the information. At least all of it 3 times. And that's really leading into the last 7th thing, which is optometry school is not about being perfect. There's so many kids in the class who study to ace an exam every single time. Some of those exams and some of those practicals and proficiencies aren't there for you to ace. You don't need to be 100% perfect on every single thing. And I know that there's some optometrists and optometry students out there who that's their goal. They're not going to hear that from me, but it's true. You're not going to be able to be an expert in every single thing in optometry. You need to be good enough in it, but you're not going to need to ace every single exam. And some people out there just need to know to get through the nightmares of optometry school, let go. Let go of perfection. And if you have anxiety, that's going to be hard to hear because you probably won't be able to do that. But fight with your anxiety a little bit. Let yourself go. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay if in that proficiency you know you always skip 1 step. That's okay. It's a proficiency. You can lose 1 point and still pass, right? You don't need to aim for perfection every single time. If you don't understand, these 4 slides in a slideshow, that's okay. If you've gone over it at least 3 times and it still doesn't stick, it's okay to leave a few informations back so you can focus on the stuff that you do know and can handle. And if you're connected with the professors and if you've gone over the information, you'll know it enough in the space of 4 years to be able to pass boards and become an optometrist. So leave that perfection behind and just be the best you can be. Being an optometrist is all just about being you. So go ahead, let go of the perfection, apply these things, and you'll be great. All right, just to recap: 1, never get behind. 2, get a tutor and get it early. 3, take better breaks. 4, try teaching it to a group of people. 5, talk to your professors. 6, go over all of the material 3 different times in 3 different ways. And 7th, let go of that perfection and go get it. Thank you all for watching to the end. If you enjoyed content like this, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps me out a lot. And go ahead and comment down below what things have helped you get through optometry school. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and we'll look forward to seeing you in more new videos. Bye.